Okay, what's going on, tycoons? What's up, traders? Super excited for today's video. Coming at you guys with another viewer request. We're looking at alliance block, okay, ALBT, and most of the levels in the last video are still valid, but we actually got a request for an update on it. So I'm gonna break it down for you guys and just show you guys the main levels that we're watching, and then we're going to go through the history of the chart and really break down the history of the chart and go over how we use some of these strategies to trade. Now, remember, none of this is financial advice. This is all rather going to be more informational, and I'm going to teach you guys some of the strategies that I use when navigating the battleground that is cryptocurrency. I like to say it's like going to battle, it's like going to war. You need to have the proper weapons and know how to use those weapons so that way you can increase your chance of success on the battlefield. So smash the like button, subscribe to the channel if you guys are new, and we'll hop straight into the video. Okay, the three main levels, or the two sets of three main levels that we're really watching are going to be these up here. These are our major retracement levels, the 61.8, the 50%, and the 38.2 retracement level. We'll break down why those are so important. And then right here, we have our breakout level, which is going to be at 0.03912. We've been consolidating a little bit here. You could say this is a little bit of a head and shoulders right here. And we got a nice little head and shoulders to play out and take us back down to our price levels right here. Okay, you could say that, but what we're really looking for is this level right here. This level needs to hold as support. If we break through this level, we're going to have a breakdown to the downside and most likely come down to 0.03048. And possibly, even if we break this level, we could come as low as 0.01949. Now, I don't mean to sound off so bearish. I'm just giving you guys the price targets. We do have some price targets up here that we're looking to see if we can reach. Now, I'll go ahead and explain why these three levels are so important. These are the major retracement levels using the fib tool over here. So you use this tool and you look at the 61.8, the 50%, and the 38.2. And here's a really, really great example of why, because it's going to help you figure out if you're continuing a downtrend or you're getting a reversal. Nothing is going to move in a straight line up and nothing's going to move in a straight line down. What you're going to see is a retracement down or a move down, retracement up, and a continuation, or you're going to see a move up, a retracement down, and a continuation. As soon as you break through your major retracement levels, that's when you can get a reversal either to the upside or to the downside. So that's the reason we use it, right? So what we're doing is we're taking our swing high up here, connecting it down to our swing low. We see we come down, we got to move up, right? And the candles did not close above our 61.8% retracement level, our highest one. We did get a very short wick above there, but you can't be fooled by these wicks, okay? If you look, we actually closed below the 50% retracement level. So what we did was we got a very healthy retracement. We came down, we retraced, and we continued that downtrend and actually made a new low. Now, after we made that new low, what we did was actually break through, right? So here's a great example of us coming up, pulling back, and breaking through our major retracement levels to get a reversal, right? The reversal is right here. We have a high, and it's going in a downtrend, and we actually make a higher high up here and get a reversal and start a new trend heading upwards. Now, how could you have spotted some of this potential bullish activity? Well, there's two things on the chart in particular that I see right away that we have charted up. We had this nice falling wedge. All right, this is a bullish chart pattern where price action is going to zigzag in between here, and you're looking for a breakout to the upside. No strategy, no pattern is going to be 100%, but once you can combine some of these strategies together, then you're going to have a much better you're basically going to give yourself an edge, right? Instead of looking for just one signal or buying in blindly like many people do, what you can do is you can use the relative strength index as well as chart patterns to give yourself an edge. So the relative strength index obviously is going to measure the relative strength of a token at its given price. Here we see we have a low and we come down and we create a slightly lower low. Well, in fact, on our relative strength index, there's a divergence. A divergence occurs when something different is happening than what's happening with the price of the token, right? So here we're in a downtrend, right? You can see we're heading lower. Here we're making a low and then a higher low. We're actually in an uptrend. So at this point that we have the low, we have a low right here, and we have a lower low right here. We have a higher low right here. So this is what's known as bullish divergence. It's an indicator you may see some bullish activity in the future. And sure enough, what do? we come up directly to our major retracement level, right? So we skyrocket up here to our 61.8, we pull back, and then we finally get our breakout, right? And then not only do we break out past our major retracement levels, but we actually get the breakout of this chart pattern here, and we started a very nice move to the upside. Now, right here, shortly afterwards, what we end up doing is making a head and shoulders pattern. So a head and shoulders is going to be pretty easy to identify, but if you're a beginner, what you want to do is you want to be looking for a left shoulder, right? So we have our left shoulder over here, we have our head right here, and we have our right shoulder. So it's going to look like this. We have boom, 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 boom. This is our head and shoulders pattern. And ultimately, we ended up breaking our neckline right here, okay, where we touched this trend line once, we touched this trend line twice, we touched it 3 times, and ultimately right here is when we broke that trend line and we got a sharp move to the downside. So that's how you basically chart and use some, chart patterns to go ahead and give yourself an edge. So if we look at what we're tracking right now with the current price action, okay, what we're doing is we're actually taking our swing high from up here, this new high that we made off of that head and shoulders. We made a new high up here. We're connecting it down to our new low. We have a very strong move to the downside. We're consolidating a little bit, okay? There's 3 stages to a reversal, and I'll go ahead and break those down for you guys real quick. So the first stage is going to be your downtrend, right? You're going to have a downtrend. And then you have a consolidation period, right? And notice how this is our box consolidation period. That's the term for it, is box consolidation. And if we get a breakout to the upside, then there's a possibility we could get that reversal. So the first sign of reversal we're looking for is a break above our box consolidation. And then to really get a true reversal, we need to break through our major retracement levels. Just like over here where we originally got rejected and headed lower, once we actually broke through these levels, that's when we got the reversal and we ended up making a high and then a higher high. So, with that being said, pay attention right around here, okay? Your box consolidation breakout is going to be right around 0.05489. If you break out above there, you need to be very cautious at 0.063, 0.071, and 0.078. Those are going to be some very important resistance levels that could push us back down further and continue this downtrend that we're on. Or if we break through those levels, there's a strong possibility we could end up getting that reversal that we're looking for. Now, don't forget about those price targets to the downside that we went ahead and went over. We're very close to our breakout level of support to the downside. And if we do break this, there's a strong chance we could come down to 0.03048. Now, let's take a look at some more trading opportunities we had, basically on this token. So we went over that initial bullish divergence we had. If we take a look here, there was another bullish divergence that we had on the chart. We have a low right here. And if you take a look, there's a low on the relative strength index. Let me scoot this over a little bit, get my face out the way. So you can see that we have a low on the relative strength index. At the same point, we have a low on the chart. Well, over here, what we do is create a lower low, but right here on the relative strength index, we made a higher low. Again, this is an indicator that you may see some bullish activity, as it's a bullish divergence because the token is making lower lows and the relative strength index is making higher lows. Sure enough, we do get a nice little bounce. So off of our first initial bullish divergence, we got a nice move to the upside, 52% from the lows to the highs. No one's going to be a perfect trader and be able to perfectly capture that move, but if you can consistently start to make 5, 10, 15, 20% profits on your trades, then you're going to set yourself up for consistent gains rather than chasing 1000x, 100x plays, and then eventually bag holding and potentially losing all of those plays after you even do hit a successful one. Okay, so that's what we're really going to be going over in this video, is just how to successfully, trade and look for different signals that you can spot and really use to give yourself an advantage. So right here, if we zoom back in the past history of the chart, we're looking at our major retracement levels again, and we have a chart pattern combined with it. So we're combining a couple things together, just like we combined that falling wedge earlier with some bullish divergence, and we got a nice breakout past our retracement levels for the reversal. That's combining multiple things together to really help you paint the picture and understand what's going on. Here, what we're doing is we're taking our swing high. We see we have this sharp move to the downside. We retrace up to our 50% retracement level, and we know this is where we need to be cautious, right? Then we have this rising wedge pattern right here. We break the trend line and we get a sharp move to the downside and ultimately continue this downtrend with a very sharp move to the downside, right? From those highs down to the next lows right here. That was an 80% drop, right? And you could have spotted this maybe even by this chart pattern or maybe even by just using the retracement levels. When you combine them together, it gives yourself an even better signal. Now, another common pattern that traders look at and that's pretty easy to identify for beginners is going to be the bear flag. So a bear flag is simply going to be indicated by a sharp move to the downside, and then you get this consolidation channel right here. You consolidate either in a sideways motion or slightly up, and you're really just absorbing that massive move to the downside. Once you break your trend line here to the down, once you break your bottom trend line, you can expect another sharp move to the downside. Now, what happens here again, not only do we have a bearish chart pattern setting up and we can start looking at it. So off of this initial move, and then we start to see it making this channel right here, what we can do is not only use this, but then use our major three retracement levels, right? Connecting the swing high down to this swing low. You see we come down, we retrace up to the 38.2. We know to be cautious up here. And then ultimately we reject there. So most likely we're going to continue our downtrend and continue this downtrend. And then we get the actual confirmation once we break our bear flag and we get a sharp push to the downside. As a result of that, we created another bear flag right here and broke down to the downside there again as well. Over here, we have some more bullish divergence. Okay, so take a look how we have a low, lower low. Right here, we have a low, we have a higher low. And we're really just been bouncing off of this trend line right here, establishing that this token is building more strength gradually through this consolidation period right here. And even though it's slightly heading lower, right, we're really consolidating and just very barely trending lower. We make our low, we make our lower low right here, we make our low, we make our higher low, and we do get a nice little pop on this token right here from the lows to the highs. That was about a 100% move. Again, nobody's going to be perfect, so you don't have to try to catch this whole 100% move, but if you can catch 5, 10, 15, 20% of this move consistently and start to spot these signals, you're going to set yourself up for success in the long run. Now, what happens next, or what happened previously, was actually going to be the exact opposite of bullish divergence. So notice how we have those highs right there and higher highs. So instead of making lower lows, we're making a high, we're making a higher high, and we're making a higher high right here. So clearly this token is in an uptrend. The relative strength of this token should be increasing along with the price. But in fact, we see a high at this point. We see a lower high at this point. We make a higher high. And then we see ultimately another lower high at this point. We make an even higher high. So this is bearish divergence indicator. You may see some bearish activity, and we do get a very sharp drop to the downside. So when you start to see some bearish activity, it's a good time for you to be cautious, protect your trade. We dropped about 50% there. Ultimately down to these lows was a 59% drop. On top of bearish divergence, we actually got a head and shoulders pattern as well. So let's say, we come up and you miss this bearish divergence, right? And you see we're pulling back. Now we have a right shoulder, we have a left shoulder, we have a head, we have a right shoulder. Now you should be able to spot this and identify this and combine it with the fact that we had a bearish divergence heading into this head and shoulders pattern. It's going to give us more of an inference that, hey, we could see some bearish activity here. And ultimately, we did get a 50% drop right there. Now, before then, we had some patterns that we just checked out before. Okay, so here's a nice little wedge pattern right here. We're consolidating in between here, and this is more of a symmetrical. It's not really a falling or a rising. So you're looking for a breakout to the downside or a breakout to the upside. Ultimately, here we get a nice strong push to the upside. And what do? We create a bull flag, the opposite of a bear flag. So this is another way that people draw flags. Okay, they actually draw the flag pattern itself. You have the flag pole, and here's the flag, these two trend lines, and you're respecting these trend lines, looking for a breakout to the upside. Ultimately, we do get that breakout to the upside, and that's when we start forming our bearish divergence along the RSI, and then ultimately forming a head and shoulders. So we went over a lot in this video. We covered the three major retracement levels. We covered some chart patterns, and we also covered how to use the Fibonacci levels. So we're taking a look currently where we're at right now. And if you made it this far into the video, you should have a better grasp and concept of why these three levels are very important to me, and then why these three levels are very important to me as well. All of this in between here is going to be kind of like noise to me, and we're really just looking to see if we can break through these levels and get a possible reversal, or if we break through these levels and head down lower. That's it for today's video. Smash the like button, subscribe to the channel. If you enjoyed this video, I do viewer requests every single week, and I can do a video on your cryptocurrency, your ticker, as soon as you want. And just all you have to do is comment down below. Okay, I'll be very happy to do that for you. I try to put them out every single week.